You don't drink?
I do, but not really.
Okay.
All right.
You want more tea, water, coffee,
I'm good water.
juice? We got ginger ales and some really good ginger ales.
I'll take some ginger.
Okay.
All right, cool. We were recording, by the way.
We recording?
Yeah.
You can put that in.
Yeah.
Because I didn't drop a name of a brand, right?
Nah. Funny enough, the other day, yesterday actually, I was at Best Buy. No, not Best Buy. I was at a place. I'm not gonna name the place. Getting one of these mics, and the dude said, I don't know, it was kind of weird. The dude asked me if I was singing because it's a handheld mic, and he was like, "Oh, yo, I thought you were a singer because you're giving me Trey Songz vibes."
Really?
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Trey Songz?
Yeah, I was like, bro, I'm renting a mic. You ain't gotta make the sale.
You didn't have? Did you have a follow up question behind that?
Nah, I was
just left it where it was
I
at.
just left it where it was.
Smart man.
I don't want to.
Surprised they try to get you a record deal.
Maybe.
Or a date.
It could have been that too. All right, this is technically our anniversary month, and within that, we got special things. Like to welcome. Are you going by your real name? All right, I want to welcome Shanisha to the podcast.
How you doing, Shanisha?
What's up?
Welcome.
And then we got. I'm gonna let y'all introduce yourselves because last time I kind of fucked it up.
So what's up, man? Easy Rose.
Yeah, what's good, people? This is your boy AD back. 2019. Keep it moving.
All right, yeah. Also yesterday, I mean, don't get mad at me, but I finally finished The Wire.
Damn.
How you
Tony.
feel about it? How you feel about it?
Well, I always watched parts of it, but I never watched it
Took
consecutively.
what, 20 years to finish The Wire, bro?
Right.
Yeah, man. I hopped
It's
on
a classic
in
though,
demand.
so
Classic.
it's one of them things you could go come back into.
I mean, it's one of the best shows I've seen on HBO. I'm surprised it hasn't won any awards. Not trying to big them up. I'm just saying.
I still hated the time, they got rid of strings. That was a hard episode, man.
Oh, man.
When they bagged
Oh,
up
man.
strings.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, if you haven't seen it by now, you're gonna hear some
Well,
spoilers.
you trashed, then
Yeah.
fuck you, right? Like,
So-
we definitely spoiled.
When they got rid of Omar, I was like, I thought it was a great
Yeah,
way.
Omar was another one, too.
So wait, so Tony was trash up until last night. You finally seen the final episode?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
He was trash up until last night.
Man, that's crazy, man.
Nah, man.
Shout out to Mac Wiles. I liked his character.
Yeah, man. And even what's the guy?
I mean, Michael B. Jordan was on
Michael
the
B.
Wire,
Jordan,
right? He
yeah,
was
I
a
seen
kid on that
Damn,
joint,
they
man.
took him out in the first season, though.
Yeah, he had to go,
Wallace.
man. You know, sorry.
Avon
what happens when you
Barksdale was my
start
favorite
snitching.
character. Wood Harris, I love that
Oh,
character.
Harris
yeah, I
good.
love Avon.
Avon Barksdale, Bodie.
Yeah. Bay? What was his name?
No, Bodie.
Weebay.
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 Weebay was dope.
Yeah.
He
Bodie.
took them charges. He was like, fuck
No,
it.
but what's
he was like,
dope-
give me the bodies.
But what's dope about The Wire is the fact that, like, although there's opposite parties, like, they all have their own interests, right?
Right.
But at the same time, they're all like the same. Like, they're all fiends for something.
Right.
Like McNulty, right? McNulty was
a
like
fiend.
Bubbles.
Yeah.
They're like kind of like the
But
same.
for like danger and
Yeah.
Yeah,
police.
he was
Yo,
a fiend for,
Yo, do you remember when he was taking like the homeless people? He was like, like
Yeah.
adjusting their bodies.
It was
to
crazy.
fit like crime. Like that was
Well, the
wild.
one thing I
Like,
liked about The
measurements he was
Wire, if you look at it, whether they were drug dealers, police,
government,
government,
all
they
that.
all
School
had
systems.
a chain of command they had to follow.
Yeah, as an organization, they
Which I
talk about
thought
those
was
organizations.
something like anybody could relate to, because like no one could make a move without someone at the top. If you look at just specifically the police, like when that dude had that one area that was called
Amsterdam, right?
yeah, and it was just like he had to take the bullet for that, but like there was no move that could be made. Everybody kept saying chain of command, and everyone was just trying to coast until they could make their way to the next spot.
Right.
I mean, even Marlo Stanfield, right?
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
had his little chain of command, but I don't know, man. He just didn't respect the code of the streets either. He just didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
Marlo, yeah, he just straight up.
He was
came
a
in
disruptor.
Like a
That new
youngin'.
wave.
He was a
just
disruptor.
like-
He was a
new
disruptor.
wave.
yeah.
And
He was
like
the
he kinda,
wave.
the
Yeah.
last thing that the Wire did that was so dope is talking about like the evolution of characters. So like how Michael's character, Mac Wild's character, turns into Omar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He became the new Omar.
And then his friend Dookie, he becomes Bubbles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they just showing it at different times.
What I thought would have been interesting is with Mac Wild's character, if they would have, I guess they didn't have time to like explore that, but if they would have explored his brother's father, like I guess you assume that he was touched when he was a younger kid, and that's why you had him killed. Right. But like, I would have loved them kind of exploring why that psychology kind of made him distant to people and made him kind of turn basically into Omar. Last point on the kids, I think they were also in a way smarter than the people who came before them. Because even they would be asking like, "Yo, why are we doing like this? Like, that don't make no sense."
Right.
And people would just be like, "Yo, but if you look at like the earlier seasons, people were just following orders. It'd be like, "Yo, go catch that body." All right, cool.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's a good show, man. I think it's top 5. I think it's a top 5 show.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
All time.
All time. Yeah, I would give that.
My favorite seasons 1 and 3.
You never seen The Wire?
All the seasons. 1.
Oh man.
Oh, we just
spoiled
spoiled it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Literally just spoiled the
Don't
whole.
take what I just said about being trash. That was just me being an asshole. But no, you're not trash.
No, but I thought it was interesting because I don't know if any of y'all heard. You know that they're bringing Sopranos back.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a movie.
No, they're doing a prequel.
reboot?
Yeah, a reboot.
Why?
Prequel to when.
Well, yeah, it's a prequel, right?
Yeah, when he was younger.
So it's a prequel,
okay.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So
Similar
it's not like a reboot of the series. It's a prequel to the series.
Similar like what they're doing in Game of Thrones. I think they're gonna.
They're doing a
Oh,
prequel.
word?
to
They
that
doing
too.
that too?
prequel to that.
Damn, I didn't even catch up on what they got now.
Hey,
Oh,
man,
man,
Hollywood
you
got to
trash.
eat, bro. They got to eat. I
You
get
trash,
it.
bro.
I mean, but the
it
Game of
sounds
Thrones
crazy.
budget is crazy. I would not want to lose that budget. Like, you
Yeah, I
know,
feel
HBO's
you.
like, yo, we need those M's. Because they shooting, I think, in New Zealand and all that.
A word? Yeah. Imagine
Yeah.
the marketing dollars behind all that.
Oh, my God.
Whoever is the agency who's still marketing, I guarantee they're like, oh, we just re-up.
Yeah. It's a bag.
It's a bag,
easy,
man.
It's an easy bag.
Yeah, that's somebody
Yeah.
going to college or a nice steak dinner if that's what you're into.
And you have so many dedicated fans, it's like an easy sell. You ain't got to really work to
But
sell
I
it.
guess the question is it going to be good?
That's why I think about
the
The
same
Sopranos.
writers
Because
are
The
not
Sopranos,
Sopranos
Was-
or Game of Thrones?
well, both prequel, something being a prequel, I guess.
I think Game of Thrones is going to be good because there's so many stories.
Yeah.
And it's like so many directions you can go with that.
I would hope so. And the writing here lately has been pretty good. Oh, for most shows.
Yeah.
Not a
So
lot.
it sounds like the consensus is you're for a prequel as long as the writing's good.
Yeah,
Always. It's all
always,
about the
right?
writing. I mean, even, I don't know, Better Call Saul, which is a prequel.
That's good.
That's
I love
true.
that.
Yeah, of
love
like
it.
Breaking Bad for the lawyer, but that's a really good show.
When they moved the night, because it doesn't come on Sundays anymore, right? I think when it first came on Sundays, I was on it, and then when they moved it to like Tuesday, I was like, nah.
Okay, why can't we get prequels to like old black shows?
Let's do
Like
that.
a prequel to Living Single, a prequel to Sanford and Son.
I don't know. Can you do it?
Because you don't necessarily
Sanford
need the
and Son would
same
be
characters,
good. Living single.
right? You know, what is Fred G. Sanford before he had his son, right?
That's true.
Right? What he was doing.
I would love to see a prequel to Living Single. Do you know that? I hope this isn't breaking news, but it's somewhere on it online. I know it's true, but that's another show that deserves more accolades.
Oh, yeah.
Because the
Living
guy,
Singles, you don't even have Friends.
Friends
No,
came
that-
from Living
Friends
Single.
literally came from Living
The
Single.
guy said he got the idea from that show, which is crazy.
Did they bring Friends back?
Nah.
They brought back.
Just on Netflix. That's it.
It was on Netflix.
Yeah, I believe it's on Netflix.
Oh, word?
They brought
Similar
back
how they
Will
did
and
Full
Grace.
House.
Streaming- yes.
So they did bring it back.
I remember they bought Fuller House.
Yeah.
But Will and Grace relaunched as the same characters just 10, 15 years later.
Similar to Roseanne.
Yeah.
Shouts to Rose. They killed her off the show.
That's
Yeah,
no
they
problem.
killed. She had a heart attack. How
She
she
need to
died?
stay on Twitter. And she want to die on a heart attack on the
They should
show.
have let her stay.
I don't know if she had a heart attack.
They should have let her stay.
You
think
think
so?
so?
Yeah, I mean,
There's a
like,
lot of people in Middle America who like
people
that.
You're allowed to have an opinion. It's freedom of speech, you know.
True.
And I don't think that a lot of times everybody else is getting away with saying what they want to say and apologizing later. You
Right.
know, so why not her for the fans?
But I
You
think
understand?
once we start
That's a
talking
good
about how
point.
it's impacting them corporate dollars,
These words without my mouth.
then you gotta go.
Because a brand don't want to
True.
put their
You gotta go.
content next
And media.
to that, right? That
People
media.
gonna
All
get
about
their
brand
media.
safety.
They're like, yeah, it is. It is brand
Right?
safety. It's like hey, you can have that freedom of speech, but
Do that on your
my
own
brand will
time.
be next to your thing because,
True.
it's crazy like that. But I
I
think
mean, to be clear, there probably are brands and backdoors that have that conversation,
oh yeah.
but they don't want to the masses. They don't.
Maybe she should have been on HBO.
I mean,
or something.
all it takes
Yeah.
is just one or two people getting
Or
on
Comedy
Twitter.
Central.
It takes
That's
one or
it.
two people getting on Twitter and say, "Oh well, I don't know, Pepsi supports a racist," and then that's a whole
That's true.
thing. It's news stories,
Or Coca-Cola,
as well.
started by
Start by Confederate.
Confederate.
Yeah.
We're gonna get
Let me get
into
into
that.
that.
Later.
Confederate juice.
Made with cocaine.
Sprinkle some cocaine. Sprinkle some crack on it.
Tell them why you're here, how I know you. I didn't do this in the beginning.
So my name is Shanisha, and I'm a financial coach. Right, my brand is Shanisha's Changing Lives. You can add me on Instagram. But I work independently for a large company, and I'm partnered with over 150 different financial firms. And I simply educate people, provide education for them, and then I help them establish their goals and dreams, and then see how we can get them to their goals and dreams.
Financial goals and dreams.
Financial goals and dreams. So
Okay.
see where they're at right now, in comparison to where they want to be, and then I create a roadmap for that.
That's dope.
And so
Yeah.
we've been friends. Me and Tony been friends for a while through my husband,
Yeah.
and recently we
Her
sat-
husband used to come to the block,
yeah.
chill out. He knew some people in Queens, actually
Yeah.
my neighbors, and we all used to hang out.
Yeah.
So yeah, I knew him for a little while.
Dope.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta keep. I feel like I don't know a lot of people my age who are doing like a lot of entrepreneurial jobs.
Yeah.
So it's like I feel like it's always good to support. I was a little sketchy at first. I thought she was one of those people. You know, those people who have that sign that says "You should be here." I thought that's what she was doing.
Pyramid scheme shit.
Yeah, I thought she was doing "You should
Amway.
be here." I was like, nah, I can't fuck with that. And then
What's
I
the other
saw
shit?
more people start working with her. I was like, all right, let me see what this is about.
Credibility's up.
Yes.
Nah, yeah. But
Really?
so really quick, I think this is important. Really, talk a little bit because you worked a regular 9 to 5. What made you want to get into entrepreneurship or become an entrepreneur?
I've always had an entrepreneur mentality. I've even with my mom, like I seen her just hustle. She was a hustler for real, and so I just always knew that I couldn't work for someone. Even though she had jobs, I knew that when she didn't have a job, she still had a hustle mentality. And so that was just how the mentality established for me. And so I knew that my job would only fund my dreams.
Right.
And so that was the goal. And it was interesting because when I initially got into working, I got comfortable.
What were you doing? I never knew. What
I
you
was
were
working for the New York State Department of Labor. I started building my business at the same time while working my job. A lot of times people will tell you, "Oh, quit your job and go full force, whatever."
Right.
And I just think that
doing.
that mentality is not for
yeah.
everyone. One, that is not for everyone, and two, I don't think that most people should do it.
Right.
Because my job was an outlet to a lot of my success.
Right.
Like I was able to kind of test the waters with my job. So basically,
Can you talk about that? Oh, you gonna?
Yeah. What that means is that I would learn about personal development, right? Because you have to develop your mind above everything. If you don't grow your income is a direct reflection of who you are right now.
I agree with that.
So
Damn, what does that say about me?
So we all agree. It's a work
we
in
all
progress,
getting better,
right?
man.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
Work in progress.
You know how I give it up. Like I don't even think about what last year was about. Like I'm always forward, never backwards.
That's true. I
So
like
it's
that.
like I never think about we talk about we work together at the I never think about that place. I do when it's applicable to whatever the topic is.
Right.
I don't think about that.
And a lot of times what happens is your dollar value, right now you may say oh, what's your dollar value? Your dollar value is not the first thing, the most important thing or the first thing that grows, The first thing that grows is your self-value. Once your self-worth grows, right? And right now you're building it. So right now you may say well, my accountant says this. No, you're building your self-worth. And literally tomorrow, all of a sudden you can be booking $100,000 deals. Each segment,
Damn.
each person, you understand? Just like that. You can go from 0 to 100,000. Just like that. So sometimes we don't see, you're not going to always get the increments. It's going to just be a jump,
Right.
But, what was I saying before? So
Because and also an important reason why I wanted you on the pod is because I think entrepreneurship is something we stress and push a lot. And for anybody listening, like, what would be some, like, I mean, I think you touched on a little bit of it, but like, what would be some advice of like how to go from don't take it word for word, but like take it and apply whoever's listening, like, what would you say for someone who's probably working a 9-to-5 who's like, all right, I want to try to do my entrepreneurship. I want to try to do something outside of what I'm doing because this city job ain't rocking.
So I'm sorry, I just want to correct it. It's state job. I don't want anyone to hear this and say
bad.
that's a state job. Right? It's a state job.
That's true. That's true. You know, people always want to correct.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but,
you got to.
But when it came down to it, you know, when I learned self-development and personal development, I would instill that because I would go to my job. When I went to my job, they developed a mentality for me. If you ever go into any like of these state agencies, right, the people pretty much don't have the best attitudes. They're kind of like
comfortable,
you know, very comfortable, and you know, you don't get the best of customer service.
I'm happy you brought that up. No, please expound. But I'm happy because So because of that, I would meet customers how my coworkers told me what I should expect. You know, so I would already have my guard up. I would already have an attitude ready to disrespect someone who I felt was going to disrespect me. And so
it's inside info.
Yeah, and you know, I would.
I think we all know this, but it's good to get the validation.
Honestly, I just thought they all came in with an attitude.
Right, like that's part of the job description.
Like they expecting you to come with an attitude, so that's why they were trying to.
No, but what I come with, like, I mean, most places just I come with a smile. I come with a smile. I'm very respectful. And then when I don't receive that, like, it's not me, it's you. Mm-hmm. Like, it has to be you. Like, but I'm sorry.
No, yeah, go ahead. No. We could talk about that for days.
No, I mean, yeah.
MTA
I mean, because think about it, right? Like, and, you know, Tony, you, myself, like, AD, like, we deal with, like, corporate clients, marketers, like business people, right?
Millions and
millions of dollars, like we're budgeting every year, right? And with that, it's like, you know, you reading the email really, there's no real tonality in email, and you reading, you're like, yo, this motherfucker really just, but you got to respond, like, you have to keep your professional hat on and saying, like, all right, let me take 2 minutes or whatever, like, let me think about this, right? And then, but you still have to show them, like, yo, this is business at the end of the day. Right. So, and I feel like outside of work, I've noticed, like, even whether if it's, you know, I have my perception about people with like city or state type jobs, like, and that's just me. That's who I am. Like, because like they know that they're going to get their pension. They know they're going to get their check. So I don't have to be nice to you.
Yep.
Us, we work on incentive. Like we it's like an incentivized shit. Like, yeah, like I got this account today, but we could lose the account tomorrow. Exactly. And then now I got to pivot and I have to be agile and move on to the next thing. And what did I learn and how can I, like, we're always just redefining ourselves.
Yep.
Right. We're always redefining ourselves.
Very
so
much.
I find that interesting.
100%.
Yeah. So
I mean, it's Darwinism at its best.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I like that. Oh, AD.
What was that? Repeat that.
It's Darwinism at its best.
Yeah, it's true.
That's deep.
Yeah, man. I've seen this game change
so many times.
Man, over 23 years, 24 years as a creative professional, I've seen it change like literally every 4 or 5 years. It's crazy.
So we coming up on a change then.
Yeah, we are. A seismic change. I don't know what that change is, but it definitely has something to do with automation. Yeah, as I told you earlier.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
And then you got to figure out you have to figure out, well, where do I fit in this equation?
Right. Yeah.
How do I matter? How are all the things that I know going to say, like, all right, when I'm going to talk about some business, like, people are going to say, well, I'm going to make you a part of the conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
But real quick, I just want to wrap up Shanisha's point. We were talking about entrepreneurship and, like, how, because she used to work for the state. You heard that part, but, like, what made her transition into entrepreneurship? Trying to motivate the listener.
Right.
Yeah. And so to bring it back to the point that I was making is that, you know, I would test. So with me already having that attitude, you know, I would kind of like, I was a great worker, but I would kind of get in authoritative trouble, you know? So one thing that I learned is that, you know, I'm a make you miss me. I'm gonna make you need me. You understand? I had to know my value, right? And so with that, I said so when I was like in my last days, and I knew, like, you know, I put a date on my desk, right? And I put a date on my desk, and everybody was looking at me. They're like looking at my stomach for growth, like what that date mean, right? But that was my quit date. That was the day that I was no longer gonna be there.
You bet on yourself.
You was about to have a kid or something?
Yeah, they was like, what
Because
that
you're
date?
a female?
Yeah,
Nah.
Damn. Date meant. I just put a date on my
you
desk.
bet
But
on
you said it
yourself.
was your stomach.
Right? No, like, you know, people, that's the
Yeah.
first thing they think. Oh, she's pregnant, you know? So
Wow.
This
Yeah.
is before you were married, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
before
yeah,
I was
yeah.
married, but you know, I was still in a relationship. But yeah, so so I just was practicing, and my clientele, like even them, they would have attitudes with my coworkers, and then the manager would send them over to me, and it would be no issue. You know, I would talk to people, I would connect them to people, I would make them my clients, whatever the case may be. You know, and people would say, like, you know, how are you so positive? And it's because I started to change my mentality.
Because you knew you was leaving.
Right.
Exactly. I knew I was leaving, right? But I started changing my mentality, and I started to adapt new habits because I knew that I was going to be doing my own thing, right? So I would say the important thing is that you have to transition out of that. You know, you don't have to just take a cold leap of faith. You know, there's an important transition. And I did take a cold leap of faith, too, because I wasn't even fully prepared but as I should have been. But that's just me.
Right.
I'm action oriented. I'll just go after it and then come back and plan later and go over things, right? Vulnerability.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
what sells, right? So
That's entrepreneurial spirit.
so yeah, so you know, for the people that are listening, I would definitely say, you know, you have to have an all-in mentality. You can't work for someone and then go home and get tired on your own goals and dreams. Like that doesn't make
you gotta
any
go
sense.
home and work harder.
Exactly. So I used to, you know, work from I used to have to be at work at 9. I was always late, but I used to have to be at work for 9, right? And then I would work 9 to 5, right? But then sometimes 6 because I would stay longer to make up the time that I came late. And then it would take me 30 minutes to get to my office. And then 6:30 to 11, I was basically working my office, whatever, every day for 4 years. You know, every day for 4. I've been in business 5 years now. Sorry, for 3 years. And then after that, I quit in 2016. Right?
Well, you had a plan and you had a goal.
Yeah, I had a plan, and you know, and you have
That's
to
dope.
respect time, because a lot of times we don't respect time. We just want to do things, and there's an order to things. If you don't follow the time, and you know, for me, I'm spiritual. Your time is not aligned.
Yo, I'm a big stick
Right?
about time. Like,
If-
if I say I'm gonna do something at a certain time, I'm always there an hour before.
Oh, I don't know about that time.
No, I'm like, yo, I'm like anal with time. Like, my wife hates sometimes traveling with me because I do not like being late.
That's
Like,
how-
I would
that's
get
how
to
my
the airport 3 hours before I need to be
You know
there.
what's funny?
I go to a client meeting. I am there before the client get there because I like to see
What's
what's
happening.
going on before they get there.
The
It's like what they
Wire.
said in The Wire, right? Boom. Yo, well, you said you need to.
When
if you-
Snoop was about to take
yeah,
out.
you got to
Yeah.
be there. You got to be there long before whatever, right? So, I agree about the time thing. It's
But,
huge.
yeah, it's just timing in general is important, you know. And I'm learning in life to respect time.
I'm glad
Time
you
is
said
real.
that.
Yeah.
Because something you can't get back.
Exactly.
You can make money back,
But
but
I'm
you
glad-
can't get time back.
I'm glad you said that because I always feel like I'm always late, but I'm always on time. Cause,
True,
Because
That makes sense.
Because
I have that facade.
because sometimes I'm late for client meetings and shit. I'm never late, but like there's sometimes with events and stuff, I go at a certain time that's quote unquote according to the invite late. But when I get there, it's like everything is happening at the right time. They're singing happy birthday, the food is served, drinks are poured. I'm like, oh, if I would have been here 2 hours earlier, I'd still be waiting.
Yeah. And you
You
know,
selfish.
No,
You like me.
I had that same
I'm
mentality.
not saying-
I'm not gonna say
I'm
I
the
had
same way. I'm
I
the
had
same
that
way.
same
He's
mentality.
selfish.
I don't
Selfish
want to
too.
wait on people. Like that was my mentality, and so you know. But I had to learn timing in all aspects of it, because if you don't respect timing,
You don't
then
respect that person.
Exactly. You don't respect people. You don't respect yourself.
Yeah.
Right. And you'll jump too soon.
Yeah.
Or you'll jump too late. You know, and it's so important that we start to respect our time and follow our intuition. Because let me tell you a quick story. When I was going to quit my job, my boss said something real slick to me at the time. It was like it was about, I think it was 3 days before I was going to quit. Right.
And they knew you were gonna quit.
Nope, they didn't know I was gonna
Okay.
quit, right? And so she was leaving, and she had said, I made up my date based off when she was leaving, because she was the one that hired me, right? So I was like, all right, I'm gonna leave when you leave, right? Which was that same year, you know. And so, like 3 days before my date, she goes, she said something like, "Oh, sit with this person, this client," and I said, "Why? That's that person's customer. That's not, you know." She said, "Well, you know, and so why are you complaining?" She said, "At least you have a job," or something like that, right? She said, "You cannot have a job, or you cannot work here," something real slick like that. So I just looked at her, and it took everything. And I knowing that you're gonna quit in 3 days, you know, I'm like. And if I feel like if I disrespected my time and said, "Cool, you're right," because I was going to quit anyway.
Right.
My whole life would be different. You know, my start into, you know, because if my start would have been different, because the first few months was tough, but then after that, the first like 2 months, I had my biggest month in, you know, $17,000 in 1 month. I had my biggest month in my life.
That's
you
dope.
know, and so if I didn't respect my time though, that could have been a completely different story. You know, and then the first few months after that, I already made I already made.
Well, be
my
careful
salary
because the
was-
IRS.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine.
Don't snitch on yourself.
That's all right.
be
We, you know,
careful.
it's okay. It's okay. I pay taxes, right? But you know, but I made what I needed to make. You understand? Don't worry. You know, I have a lot of expenses. Office on Wall Street is expensive, but
Hey, this
It's a-
podcast, I am writing off.
exactly right. It's expensive,
You
right?
gotta figure that out. Yeah, I
So
like this shit.
1099. So but the point was that, you know, 3 days before, I just quit my I could have quit my job, but then I just waited, and then 3 days later, you know, I handed her my stuff, and she was just looking like, I just knew this was coming. You know, but she was happy, you
Right.
know, because she was happy that I was following my dreams.
That's always good. I
Yeah.
think when you quit somewhere and people are happy
Yeah.
for you, that's good.
She
'cause
was
that
like-
means
She
they
respected
want
me.
to see
She saw
growth.
more of me.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's dope.
My manager though, like she was a supervisor. The manager was
Well,
sick.
manager's gonna be like that because they're transactional, you know.
I made a meme.
Sometimes they know you're the best
Did a
worker.
meme?
They're like,
I made a
"Damn."
meme right I had took a picture when I was in like Panama, and it was a funny face, and I made a meme saying the face your boss makes when you tell her that you quitting. And somehow it got to her, and she
she's
took
not feeling
offense,
that.
right? And she just
Oh.
got upset. I mean, she be alright, but
Shit,
Yeah, but that's
complaining
because of
is-
that. That's because of that mindset.
Yeah,
and it's
that-
like, oh well, you know, you have this, and this is the best thing that's ever happened to you.
Exactly.
You can't do more, and it's bullshit. You know that's
Well, they're
bullshit.
jealous.
Yeah, I mean,
That's-
no, I'm just saying, but
They're
they're
like,
jealous.
Oh man, they get to leave.
Yeah,
I'm
they're
still
and they're
here."
jealous that they can't do what she does.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
take risk.
So I thought this was interesting. The Pope launched an app, bringing it into the digital world.
Right.
I guess why did it take so long? Because apps kind of been here for a while. I'm sure there was a prayer app before the Pope did it, and like the Pope was like top G
True.
comes to religion.
I mean,
If you're Catholic,
I don't know. I mean, if you look at like anything that's not a corporation, right? And even corporations have problems launching their own digital channels. But, you know, religious organizations and governments are probably the worst people to manage and launch any kind of digital platform because it does take a certain type of mindset to, one, want to do it. Number two, maintain it. Like the moment you turn on that app, that you got a team like running that 24/7. It's not like a website. You can launch a website, and if it's a brochure website or if it's a Shopify like e-commerce, that more or less can manage itself, right? But when it comes to an app, because apps like literally update all the time, and literally has to like change when an operating system change, or it gets some bugs or a new handset come out. Like there's so many variables going into like maintaining an app. So I'm thinking, just purely speculation, that these guys figure out like the best way to want to launch that app and really make it where it's immersive, right? And I do think one of you guys mentioned that it has a web app, right, which allows most people
I just looked at it
to
before we
interact with that engagement without having to download a native app. So I'm thinking that's why it took this long to launch that app, right? Because like I said, app is a commitment.
That's true.
You know? It really is.
I wonder how many people got.
I think it's also just about it. You know, the church is conservative.
They are.
You know, so with
Yeah.
it being very conservative, you have to remember they have to decide, is this something that is in respect to God, you know, and making that decision. And so I think that they were kind of probably following things like the Bible app, you know, and seeing how it's even like transforming and becoming a communication platform for people to have more conversations about God. And you know, it's almost like almost like a social media in itself now.
Yeah,
you know?
true.
So it went from just being something that you read the Bible on to like, now we can share notes and all these different things. And so I think that they probably followed that, saw it, and then decided, you know what? This is something we can bring. It's good for people.
Right.
It's right.
Somebody young had to be like, yo,
I agree.
check this
Definitely
out.
a young progressive person who's big into social media and see how social interactions in something like the Bible app, which is probably influenced from what you would do in any social website or app, can easily make this a little bit more viable. So totally get it. Totally get it.
Yeah, and I'm also just with that, like, I think it's an opportunity for like the Catholic Church to kind of steer and dictate some narratives, just and bringing themselves back into like the realms and catching up with like social media or like just regular digital media within itself. I mean, I know I've spoken about this before, but like, we talk about like the Vatican too. Like that came about because the church was behind and they saw that, advertising and marketing was tapping into the people, like everyday people's lives, right?
Right.
So what happens with the church? I mean, the church has a following, so like they're losing control. So now they have to kind of pivot and find ways to say like, how can we still keep our mass audience, right? And I feel like with this, it's just another stepping stone to that. It's kind of late. I agree with Tony. But at the same time, like I also agree with the point where he's saying like you have to make sure it's done the right way because we're dealing with like the church has been around for Lord knows how long, how many years, and it's like it's so many people who are gonna feel away or impacted, and if you don't do it the right way, and then you have to have like the money behind it. It's like if we ain't gonna launch it the right way, we don't want to touch it. We don't want to, we don't want to mess with it. Again, I'm just interested in seeing when that donation button.
Oh, it's
coming.
coming. It's coming.
That's what I'm looking forward
Bro,
to.
look, come on, man. You know it's gonna happen.
Man, the Pope got a cash
Put
app.
a little something on the
Pope
pulpit.
got a cash app. He got a Venmo.
Hey, look, I got a diabolical mind here, right? So I'm just gonna take this like the exact a parallel path here, right? So you got the Pope who's doing this app. What happens with some of these other guys, kind of like the Kenneth Copelands, the Creflo Dollars?
Ooh, Creflo Dollar.
Would they consider like duplicating that same experience? Because it's this old saying that, even at my job, we say the last best experience is the minimal experience you want to deal with going forward, right? So if the church is successful with this platform, does these televangelists start replicating the same thing?
Yeah.
Right? I'm just saying, because the donation button is huge.
Yeah. I want to see Creflo Dollar money walk on the. I want to see Creflo Dollar walk on that money. I ever showed you that
He
video?
was walking on some phones.
Oh no, he was.
In today's church, he was walking on some phones.
He gonna be
right?
walking on some.
You gotta YouTube that.
I just want you guys to know that I'm the first person to get someone to twerk in the Vatican.
What?
God damn.
You never saw the video?
I'm not even that.
No,
bold.
break this down. Break this
Wait,
down.
wait,
Break
wait.
this down.
Yeah,
Break
break
this
this
down.
down.
Me and my
You're a
friend.
little close to it.
So me and my friend, we went to Rome, and I was like, let's go to the Vatican. So my friend thought
Which
the
friend
Vatican,
is this?
Drama.
Oh.
So she thought the Vatican was a museum. So she's wearing like poom poom shorts, right? And it's like cheeks is out and everything, and she has this like big leg tattoo, everything, right? And so I said, in a crop shirt, I said, "You're wearing that?" And she said, "Yeah. What you mean?" And I said, "All right, I can't tell a grown woman what to do, right?"
All right.
So she goes in there.
That's what she looked like.
Yeah. So she goes in there, and we get online, and they're like, they stopped.
They stopped you guys?
Yeah. So we had to go buy some some scarves. They were some like long scarves. So we went and buy some scarves and wrapped ourselves up. That's her. Yeah. so we wrap ourselves. I was wearing a skirt, but a dress, but they said it was like a little too short. So whatever, we get in the Vatican, and I said, she's a daredevil, and it's all strict and uptight, for obvious reasons. And so I said to her, I'll give you $5 if you twerk in the Vatican. And so she's like,
$5, man. I do it.
I need to see the $5. And I said, all right, have it right here. She goes up to the wall, and she puts her hand on the wall, and then she starts twerking in the Vatican, and I'm just, like, running away from it. It was the funniest thing ever. I don't even know if anybody really noticed us or saw us, but they were probably like, who the hell are these people?
She didn't make it clap, did she?
She not like that, nah.
God.
We should have.
He's from Atlanta, so he knows the real twerking.
did a little bit more, but she was a little nervous. Can't lie. But I'm just
Hey.
saying we was the first ones, you know. So if you ever see it go viral, just know.
Hey,
we was
get
the
your
first
Mary
ones, right?
Magdalene on, baby. It's
Yeah,
all
man.
good.
And the
You
Vatican,
should have
the
the
Vatican
cash
got
app.
all that for $5.
Right?
Hey, man, that's $5 she didn't have.
That's
That's a
that's
tip down in
funny.
the clubs. And hey, bro, that's a good hour.
That's a dance, and
That's a good hour. That's a good 30 minutes.
I just know because somebody told me. Well, on to something that's not as interesting, but Facebook is back in the news. I don't know if you guys saw this. So basically, there was a loophole in Apple's terms and conditions, and they, from what I understand, they paid people to sign up and use this app and then basically give up their data. And I think Facebook put like a halt on them and removed any apps they were doing from the iPhone. Because, I mean, Tim Cook is really strict on that. I mean, that's like one of Apple's that's one of their key sellers that like, yo, we're not going to give up your data. You're safe with us.
So they say.
Data privacy. Do you think Facebook has become a habitual line stepper?
Oh, yeah. They're Rick James.
Yeah.
They're definitely Rick James. They step over the line all the time. But nobody, it's so powerful. It's like, you know, who's going to regulate? Who's going to check them?
That's
Who's
true.
going to check me, boo?
We need Charlie Murphy, aka.
Who's going to check them? Outside of, I guess in this case, well, it seems that regulation of big companies is going to have to come from other big companies because governments are really not set up to regulate something they don't know nothing about.
But that's also, we kind of talked about this a little bit before the pod. That's also a little bit of a bro way of thinking, like, yo, we're just going to do whatever we want until we get in trouble, and then we'll backtrack it a little bit.
I think Apple checked them in the long run. It makes more financial sense for these guys to like, hey, enforce these strict policies, especially with all the, you know, these strict codes coming from like the EU about personal information and antitrust laws and privacy laws. Like, you probably didn't notice, every site you go to now, like the cookie thing kind of pops up to say, hey, it's okay that we're tracking you, we're doing cookies. Like, that is like a new policy coming out of the EU that's affecting everywhere, right? Like, you go on any site on your phone, you'll see that pops up first, and you cash it, and either comes back or goes away. But, you know, a lot of companies are getting sued by, you know, other governmental agencies, such as, like, even with Apple, right? So I can see how Apple, like, look, you know, you guys fucking up and doing all this crazy, you know, spying on people. In the long run, it's going to cost us money and trust with our shareholders and people using our ecosystem. They sell in this ecosystem of trust. Like, to, you know, Rose's point, if I'm buying an Apple product, I at least feel like they're taking some, you know, steps to guard my information, especially in the world and, you know, everything's getting hacked. Like, Apple would even let they didn't even allow the FBI to even crack one of their phones years ago.
That was gangster.
When that, you know, dude was out west shooting people and they need to get into his phone. They're like, nah, we're not going to build it. Because we build this now, we can't unlock it and we can't put it back in the bag and boom. So I get it, man. It's that just adds to their bottom line by actually checking Facebook. It's about the bottom line in the long tail of it all.
Yeah, I think, those are all great points too, because like if you think about it, now it's kind of highlighting the coexistence between product and service, right?
Yeah.
And it's like they both need each other.
They do.
But then it's like, you know, it could be like people who work together. Like we work together, we don't got to like each other, but we got to figure this thing out, right? So, I mean, I think by Apple checking them, I mean, let's see what happens, because like per what Tony said, like Facebook is just doing what the fuck they want to do anyway. So they're like, whatever, man.
Who
like,
else going to check Facebook?
I don't know.
Who can check them?
They backing out the ratchet on everybody, so I don't know.
I mean, the FBI can't check them. The CIA, I mean, don't hack me. I'm just saying,
Right.
those guys can't check Facebook. But a $1 trillion company is the only company that was actually able to, you know, say, you know, nah, you ain't gonna do this,
Right?
You know.
No, I thought that was gangster. Speaking of Apple, I think Rose, you sent this. I didn't read into it, but they're trying to launch like a Netflix type of situation. What do y'all think about that? I feel like there's already a lot of content out there.
It's not gonna be that big, I don't think.
Oh, really? Why you think so?
Because I think that Netflix already kind of made its mark, and it's already made its brand. So if you look at other companies like the Hulus or even the Amazons, you know, trying to do the same streaming process, it's always going to be referred to as Netflix. You'll be on Amazon and it'll be Netflix, you know. So
it's
I
good
just
branding.
Yeah, so I just don't think that it may not fail, but it's definitely not taking the place of Netflix.
Yeah. I think it's
gonna eat a little bit in the market.
I don't know. I mean,
if you think of Apple Music, a lot of people didn't think that was gonna rock.
But Apple already had a history with music. They've always had music, right?
But I think the key thing is they're already on your phone, so it's like,
but yeah,
they might do a Bon Jovi thing where one day you open your phone and you have this movie app or you have this TV app on your phone.
But therein lies the problem with Apple, being that they're so strict about keeping the ecosystem so tightly controlled. How can somebody watch Apple, I guess, if they're going to call it Apple TV for argument's sake, how can they watch it if they don't have an Apple device?
Right.
That's true.
Right? Yeah. So it's like now they're forcing you to watch a certain type of content on their devices. And I just feel like Netflix success is that they're ubiquitous. They're omnichannel. You can literally watch Netflix on a laptop, on any smartphone, or any tablet, right? And now on set-top boxes, over-the-top boxes. So they've had a lot of success with that. And even Amazon was kind of a locked system, but now they're opening up. So I don't know. I just think, you know, Apple don't usually open their systems up to other things. It's in a tight ecosystem. Yeah. So I don't know how this is going to play out. But beyond, like, the platform play, the content, I mean,
how's that gonna look?
Yeah, because and true, Netflix didn't have their own content initially.
Right.
They rented from the studios, but now it's Netflix exclusives.
Yeah, told Blockbuster.
I'm a little tired of Netflix exclusives.
Told Blockbuster, get the fuck out of here.
But Disney's probably the only one that can take on the Netflix because they got
they own everything.
They got a lot of content. Yeah. They're pulling content from Netflix.
Yeah, I think with this whole Apple thing though, I mean, it's just going to show just like the lack of innovation. Like that was the first thing I thought about, right? It's like they've always been, you know, Steve Jobs in his presentation, like it was always like, this is what the next looks like, right? Yeah. Now we're just following the trends. Like we got money, so like, hey, all right, let's put our bets on that. Let's put our bets on 27 Red. Let's put our bets on 12 Black.
Well,
right?
I mean, the only thing I would disagree with is I feel like, don't kill me for this, but I feel like even when Steve Jobs was here, they would still take things that existed, but they would take it to the next level. But I don't know if they really
They weren't the first to do something, right? But they were the first. They would innovate shit,
right?
Yeah.
They would. So they didn't wasn't the first to do an MP3 player.
Yeah,
that
was my point.
They were the first to do the iPod.
What I'm saying is nothing brand new under the sun. And to my earlier point about that is like I have Apple TV. You know what? Apple TV is all based off apps. So I can actually watch Netflix on Apple TV. So my point is
that like, a soft flex?
What?
Is that a soft flex?
Oh, no, it wasn't Apple a flex at all. I'm getting to a point. I'm getting to a point.
My bad.
Let me get my boss off. Look, so right? So they got Apple. So Apple TV, you can actually watch Netflix. So is the pivot or the turnaround to say, okay, you can't download Netflix on Apple TV anymore because we have our own product, right? Like, I guess that's what the conversation is. I guess for me, the only way I'm interested in this is one, if I'm able to use this, leverage this, and share it with my friends. But like, let's say if this is going to be is this going to be a paid thing? Because I don't know if it's going to be a paid thing, and if it is, how many subscribers can I share it with? Because if it makes sense, and is it cheaper than what I'm getting for Netflix? Because that's the only way that I'm going to care. If not.
Price.
I'm not really gonna. I mean, yeah. And then will they have like? Are they gonna roll out? They got so much dough. Will they do have like a production house where they like producing content?
But is it enough?
Right.
Is it enough to care? Right. I don't know.
I mean, Apple doesn't even. I don't even know if I can. And Apple doesn't even sell media. So I mean, Netflix doesn't either. But I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
I heard it about turning the ads on Netflix. I've
been
reading about that. You know, I know Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu
is turning on ads when you pause the video. Like if you pause like the content, they're gonna start serving you ads when you pause it. It kind of makes sense.
Smart. Yo, honestly, I don't fuck with Hulu.
Me neither.
I don't either.
No. their specs to submit commercials is horrible.
Really?
Yeah. Like it's just horrible.
That explains why.
So
It's not standard. It's
So
like
you-
some old shit.
So you don't watch it because of this, like a professional, like
Yeah.
that's hilarious.
Yeah, because I mean, I watch it, but I don't pay for it. I watch it
Gotcha.
from other people
Yeah.
who got Hulu, but
They
like
log
I don't
in,
know.
huh?
Yeah, man. That's that's the only way this thing gonna make sense. If I could share
Don't
with
tell
all
me
you
about
all,
that.
and we could watch it at the same time,
Yeah,
makes
that'd be
sense.
I just feel like this is a wait and see for me. I'm not excited about this.
Yeah, I'm not excited
me
about it
It's
either.
not. You know.
All right.
What about you, Shanice?
Nope, not at all.
Oh, okay.
You got a good point.
I'm like, no.
We're a good sample size, so I think.
Okay, they're gonna give out a trial. Would you try it for a trial?
And everyone has Apple devices in this room,
Yeah,
so it
I'll
makes
try
sense.
It does, but I just feel like
Yeah,
We
free
watch a
time.
lot of
it's not a
content.
good value
Yeah.
prop for me, right?
Yeah.
You know, what if I decide to switch to Android tomorrow? Do I still?
Oh, it's a
If
wrap.
they hire more women and black producers and creatives for the content, I'll support it.
It has to be about the content, because otherwise, it's kind of like, why should I give a fuck? I
That's
mean,
true.
you know, we watch Netflix for certain content.
Oh.
You watch Hulu
If
for
they
certain.
give the same feature where, like, you know, you can do 5 devices and I could just take someone's password, and I'm cool with it.
I'm sure
Yeah,
it'll be
they
like
should.
that. I'm sure
Yeah,
it'll be
it
like
gotta
that.
Yo, speaking of content, sorry, I gotta backtrack. Do you know they rebooting Boomerang?
Yeah. Halle
On
Berry
BET?
and Gina White are actually working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew about that.
How you
Well-
feel about that? Have you seen Boomerang?
No.
Oh damn. All right.
I mean, I'm old.
It's kind of an ad thing though, so but Eddie
Boomerang
Murray-
is kind of near and dear to.
No, it's all good.
Nah, because the first agency we worked at, it was kind of loosely based on that.
And then, depending on who you're talking to, they say it was loosely based off the other agency out of Chicago, Burrell. Depending on who you're talking to.
Nah, but if you look at the producer,
Yeah, he used to work at UW.
no, but if you look what the
One of the
no,
writers of Boomerang used to work at Uniwork Group.
yeah, but if you look at the flamboyant producer, he doesn't remind you of somebody.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. Your old boss.
Somebody
Yeah,
told me that I
100%.
was like, oh yeah, he
100%.
does kind of remind me of
Your old boss, 100%.
I'm gonna ask him when we get him on the pod. I'm like, yo, is anybody
Shout out to that OG.
base a character off of you?
Yeah, we gotta get him up here.
Yo, we're gonna pay some bills and then wrap
Oh,
it up.
I like
on-
that. That's dope. I
Yeah.
mean, it's good. You know,
All right.
definitely
Hey,
a new
man.
year. You know, people trying to follow some, goals.
Gotta go get it. Gotta go get it.
Oh yeah. All right. So what we say when we wrap it up?
Hey man, no soft talk when it comes to telling the truth.
All right. Check us on the next pod.